Hey Dragons! Today we're going to learn about deliberate practice. Deliberate practice is when you have a goal in mind and you practice in a way that's really thoughtful and really focused so that you can get better at that certain goal that's going to help you in your sport or activity. If you use deliberate practice, you're going to improve very quickly, and the practice time you spend is going to be very efficient. If you want to be an elite athlete, following the ideas behind deliberate practice is an absolute must. So let's get into the details. Deliberate practice is very goal-oriented. That means that you have identified something that you want to get better at, you know exactly what that skill is, and that's exactly what you're going to practice. Deliberate practice should be slow and thoughtful. Think about what you're doing. Think about how it feels. You really have to focus on what's happening and try to notice these small differences between success and failure at this skill. Learning a new skill should be progressive. You might have to start with just one part of that skill, then add in a second element and a third and fourth, and build it up as you get better and better. Finally, after we've gone through the necessary progression, we want to mimic a game scenario. Our practice should look just like it's going to look on game day. That way when game day arrives, we're ready and we don't make a mistake. As we go throughout different activities, I'm going to give you examples of how to practice deliberately, but while we're on the topic of rock climbing today, let's look at an example. I'm going to climb this pink boulder problem 2 times. It's the exact same problem, but I'm going to do it completely different because I'm practicing. One time I'm practicing a side flag. That's where one foot is on a climbing hold and the other foot is kicked out to the side, helping me balance. Notice how I'm doing this exact same technique every single time. Not only am I thinking about the skill, but I'm also getting a lot of repetition. Now it's important to note that this boulder problem isn't extremely difficult for me. It's really hard to learn when we're in difficult settings. The second time I climb this boulder problem, I'm using a technique called back flag. One foot is on the climbing hold, and the other foot is behind that first foot. In this practice session, I use deliberate practice. I set a goal to get better at flagging. Then I practice on an easy problem where I could go slow and really think about and feel my movements. I practiced over and over again a side flag, and then I practiced over and over again my back flag, noticing how they were different and how it felt. By practicing these skills in this easy scenario, I'll be ready to execute them when I get on a harder problem. One activity that I really enjoy is ultimate frisbee. A couple years ago, I was watching club or professional ultimate frisbee on YouTube, and I noticed a lot of the elite players were doing the same give and go type maneuver. So I took my wife, I went to the park, and I started practicing. So I started like this. Normally, when I throw a backhand throw, I would step across my body and throw like this. But in this scenario, the defense would be right here. So I can't step across my body because the disc would hit the defense. Instead, I have to keep the disc really close to my body and I have to step forward the other direction and throw out from my chest. So imagine trying to shoot a basketball a different way or trying to throw a ball a different way. With practice, you could do it, so that's what I did. I started just taking one step and throwing out from my chest like this. After I mastered that new arm position and body position, I moved on, I progressed. I started taking that one step and throwing, but I followed it up with a couple more steps. Now, I wasn't sprinting, I wasn't going as fast as I could, just a couple more steps to get in the habit of the give and go. I was practicing the go part, but in slow motion. it looked like this. Once I mastered that, throwing from my chest and taking just a few steps, I was ready to do it faster. I wanted to go faster and faster and faster until I got to game speed. Eventually, I could do it as fast as I possibly could, and it looked like this. Now, I wasn't done yet, because if I, in a game, turned this way, looked exactly where I was going to throw it, and then did it, the defense would know what I was going to do. In sports, we want to trick the defense and then do something different that they don't expect. So to trick the defense, I'm going to fake. Maybe I'm going to hold the disc in my forehand grip, and I'm going to fake throwing this way. Then I'm going to change my grip, change my direction that I'm facing, and do my give and go. So here it is. Eventually, I started slow, then eventually I got quicker and quicker, and at full speed, it looks like this. So in this example, I set a goal. I started slow, and I thought about the different parts. Then I progressed, and I got better and faster and added more elements. And then finally, I was good enough that I could do this in a real game-like setting.